educators across the country are trying to figure out, when is a student safe to come back to school? And it can be with a student who is in kindergarten, who is biting other kids, running out of the classroom, killing the goldfish. It can happen with a student who says that they're going to blow up the school because they're pissed off that day. Or it could be a student who posts something alarming on Facebook or has a picture of themselves with a gun. Or it can be a student where a teacher discovers a hit list that they have. And educators are faced with an incredible responsibility to both keep the school safe, but also not to overreact. And even though we know that schools are relatively safe places to be, many people across the country have been frightened because there were targeted school violence where sometimes students would come in and kill multiple other people. So what I have done over the last 14 years is do many what I call safety assessments, which are intensive evaluations, helping schools to figure out, is this child safe to be home, to be at school? And what we draw on initially is the Safe School Initiative, which was done by the U.S. Department of Education and the Secret Service. And they looked at all the students who had done targeted school violence. And they had really important messages. And the first message that's key for educators to know is that there's no profiling of a student shooter. The second thing is that a student can make a threat but not pose a threat. And that's incredibly important because there also are students who don't make a threat but pose a threat. And the Safe School Initiative put together a series of questions that we review in the article, Dr. Wittenauer and myself, that are important for educators to know to help begin to build an understanding of a student when they say something threatening or alarm the school. So Cornell and Sherris are two other psychologists who have developed a protocol to help with what's an important distinction, which is the threat that a student make transient or substantive? Is this threat made in a moment of anger and then the student feels remorseful? That's a transient threat. Or is it a substantive threat where there may be some underlying mental illness, there may have been some perceived necessity for revenge, there may be access to a gun or access to carrying out a threat where there has to be more intensive intervention. My protocol, which is a safety assessment protocol, is around students who you've established there's not an imminent threat, but you need a comprehensive assessment which helps turn around the student's behavior. And you do it with multiple points of information. We interview the student, the family members, the school, and the mental health clinicians. And we put together an understanding of why the student is struggling and what kind of interventions, how can we intensify the interventions to turn the behavior around. So in our article, we review the history that we talked about, we share the safety assessment model, and we give you 2 vignettes to show one student who may be struggling and needs some modifications in the classroom and some additional therapeutic support, and another student who is concerning enough that they need to be in a therapeutic school setting where they're getting more services. And our hope is that by being able to be thoughtful and targeted in how we build interventions, that we can respond to the needs of the students and also keep schools safe. So if you need to contact me, I would love to talk with you further. Thank you.